Um, no, I think it's, yeah, obviously as captain, it's important that you're mindful of people's situations, and making sure you're asking about how they're getting on with things. But in terms of there's people in outside of our bubble that are in a lot worse situations than we are at the moment. So we sort of got a touch of reality there. Obviously with the contract stuff, I think the most guys are underway now, and hopefully they'll be all sorted out one way or another, over the next week or two, because you want to get it done and dusted before such a big campaign coming up. And if not, there'll be breaks during the Six Nations, I suppose, on those fallow weeks to pick up the pieces if there's last bits to done. But look, it can be a distraction if you let it be a distraction. But I think guys here know how important the Six Nations is, and we're just looking forward to getting the rugby side of things underway. Yeah, anytime you get a little niggle like that, it's very frustrating, because I did a lot of work over the last 4 or 5 weeks, trained hard to make sure that didn't happen, and it did at the time that I didn't want it to happen, which is somewhat typical. But listen, it's not major. Hopefully, be back training, by the end of the week. And like I said, hopefully be fit for the Wales game. So yeah, it can be frustrating when you pick up these things. But it is a tough game to get through now. But I was in a good place, before the Munster game, and picked up a niggle, so I won't let it get me down too much, and just get back on the horse, get back training hard this week, and hopefully be firing next week. Yeah, look, Jacob not being here is a blow, as it would be to any squad. But we've got some good guys, in the back three that have been playing really well. And it's disappointing for Jacob. I haven't had a chance to catch up with him yet. I was texting him before we were due to play Ulster, kind of seeing if he was going to be playing in that game. But I didn't think it was too bad at the time, so it was a shock to me that he missed out with injury. But hopefully he'll be back soon. He's a top quality player, and a guy that can make a big difference. So hopefully he'll be back soon. Well, I don't like to throw your goals out for everyone to hear them, but obviously, being captain for this campaign, big aspirations that the team does really well. To try and win a championship as captain would be brilliant. Look, there's lots of stuff. For me, it's about taking it like campaign at a time. And I'm just properly focused on this one. And whether stay on for another year or another two, I don't know. It's hopefully I'll have something sorted in the next few weeks, and like I said, all my focus is on this campaign and trying to win it. And like I said, try and do a good job as captain, and make sure we're better as a team off the back of it. And like I said, I'm so excited to get into camp. It was a great place to be in November, and now hopefully we can keep it like that, but have a couple of extra results to go our way, and to win some silverware is where we want to be at the end of this tournament. Yeah, I'd agree with that. They've got some outstanding young players coming through. They seem to be very much together. Good team spirit, and they're coached very well. Sean Edwards seems to have gone in and made a difference. So, you'd expect big things from them. But hopefully we can learn from the game we played against them at the back end of the Six Nations last year, and give them a better game in Dublin this time.
Hi Johnny, back again. Just as a little follow-up to my last question, Ross and Billy both were given chances in a number 10 jersey at the end of last year. How do you think they did, and also how do you see the competition now go? Do you feel you are being pushed?
Yeah, I'm being pushed every day in Leinster with the Byrne brothers, with Kieran Frawley, with any of the guys that have come into Irish camp, and like Billy did really well in the stints. He picked up obviously a knock in a couple of the games, which was disappointing for him when he was going so well. And Ross, I thought did really well in patches against England, and he would have learned a lot from other patches against a very tough side, probably one of the toughest sides to play against in the world. So, they both deserve to be in here, and they've both done very well. And we'll have a good old battle to compete for that spot, and it'll be no different to anyone else. Well, the first part of the question, as captain, always an honour, always a privilege to get asked to do it. It was always a case of let's take it campaign by campaign, and very, very proud to do it again, and looking forward to it. I think I've learned a lot over my first year doing it, and hopefully I'll be better for it going into this campaign. I suppose with the English question, it's probably the one team we probably haven't thought about at all, because they're last, they're our last game. So we've got, a massive game first up against Wales, and then when that's over, focus on France. But yeah, it'll be a good barometer when it comes to it, of how much we've improved. But hopefully we can, for us now, our focus is on making sure that game against England, there's something on the line, and there's something to play for, because that's where we were last year against France, to play for a championship, and we didn't turn up on the day, and we want to put that right. He's been very impressive on and off the pitch. When he was in camp with us I suppose he was labelled as a development player back then, and he was, like I said, incredibly impressive with his work, in practice. His attitude, the way he lives his life is just geared towards being the best he can be, and being the best rugby player he can be, and it's admirable. And same for for experienced guys like me, learning from that attitude, and that rubs off on other guys, and even the Munster guys have said how big an impact he's had in the environment down there. So it's great to have him in. It's great that we've got so many good nines throughout the country now, pushing each other. And at one stage we were, Connor was, everyone was, what happens if something happens to Connor? And now there's so many guys pushing him, and he's still maintaining his high standards. So it's a great place to be. The spirit was brilliant in November and through the back end of the Six Nations. When we were in camp. I don't. It's not an excuse. You got to make an effort, and I've got a lot of Liverpool fans, so I don't like you. Friends as Liverpool fans, I don't like you talking about Jurgen Klopp. I'd much rather you talk about Man United at the moment and how good they're doing, and that's not the COVID restrictions aren't affecting their team spirit. So it's all there for all the rules are there for everyone. All the teams are the same. So it's what you make with it, isn't it? It's what you do with the time you have, and we've got a good social committee here, and they'll keep us entertained. Looking forward to the camp ahead. Well, none yet, because we're only in today. No, we're not actually in camp yet. We're in camp later on tonight. So I'm sure I've caught up with him a couple of times. I obviously know what an impact Paul has on teams by playing under him when he was captain of Ireland, and for 10-15 years with Ireland and Munster, the impact that he had on their environments, and he'll be no different here. He's a brilliant leader. He's a brilliant person, and his desire or his passion for the game is second to none, and that'll rub off on us. I'm really looking forward to working with him. That's all I can say really on him.
House of Rugby Ireland, here on Joe, together with Guinness. Game changed.